Hold on, did we just hear that Jim Jones' son was arrested once more? This time, the controversy isn't your typical one. It's love and hip-hop level crazy. What in the name of reality TV is going on here? A twist this big could only be made up, but this is all too real. After the tragedy that has been Jim's family drama, you didn't think it could get much wilder, did you? Following the ongoing back and forth, there have been scandals and arrests. But just when you thought the Jones family couldn't be shaken anymore, another bombshell is revealed. This time, it's a son who is involved in a situation so bad that even Mama Scott Young couldn't have predicted it. You won't believe what has been discovered in the most recent twist, which is why he was arrested and what it means for the Jim Jones' son has just set the stage for one of the most shocking scandals in the history of love and hip-hop. Are we witnessing a dramatic fall from grace that could rock the entire reality TV industry to its foundation? Or is this just a marketing gimmick gone wrong? Stay tuned because what you're about to hear will leave you wondering everything. All about music and reality TV drama. So get ready because what's happening now is a nightmare that nobody saw coming. Jim Jones, who is known for his outrageous public persona, is now dealing with the consequences of a legacy he left for his son. And his son has just brought things to a completely new level of tragedy. Imagine this right before Jim's son seemed to be ready to emerge from the shadows of his notorious father's reputation. But he's entangled in a scandal so sinister that it could destroy everything. An arrest for illegal drugs, a challenging run-in with the law, the title love and hip-hop rocked again. Jim Jones' son arrested, okay? This isn't a joke or a random story. It's the real thing. Jim Jones' son isn't just another reality star. He's a walking disaster right now. And the world is watching every second of it unfold. But let's be clear, he's not the only one who has been living under that cloud of controversy. Jim Jones has always been the guy who pushed boundaries, whether it was his rough street persona or his loud public confrontations. He's the one who stirred the pot, got into fights, made enemies, and proudly flew the flag of controversy. One person Jim definitely meant to protect from the chaos has plunged headfirst into the same issue. The truth is worse than anyone could have predicted. Let's take a moment to reflect. A few weeks ago, Jim's son was living his best life, appearing on Instagram as though he had everything together. He was trying to forge his own identity and escape the shadow of his father's fame. And his followers were truly beginning to support him. But as we all know all too well, things aren't always as they seem. Now that the same young man is being charged with a crime, and trust me when I say that this isn't just a minor arrest, the scandal has been leaked. It's chaotic, and it's the kind of story that will make you reevaluate everything you believed you knew about this family. Let's get into the specifics. Jim's child has clearly been growing too accustomed to. Insiders claim that his new reality TV show revealed that he had engaged in some extremely shady activities that no one could have predicted, such as drug use, possibly some dubious business dealings, and a wild night out that turned into something much darker than anyone had anticipated. It wasn't just a minor problem, it was a complete catastrophe. And the worst part was that his actions weren't just his own. Using his father's name to hide it began to circulate that Jim's child had engaged in some illegal activity, not just the kind of things you can get away with. This wasn't an accident, rather, it was a planned action. The police reports from that evening have been leaked, and we're seeing some heartbreaking revelations that will leave you speechless. Jim's child was caught red-handed in this situation. According to reports, when police attempted to calm him down, things got worse, by which I mean crazily out of control. And the son allegedly began yelling filthy things, demanding special treatment, and using his father's name. No one, especially a reality TV star, should ever find themselves in an altercation with police officers that went so out of hand that it was captured on multiple cameras. Like it was some sort of get-out-of-jail-free pass. It was like a scene from a fake reality TV show. But this was real life. And to top it all off, authorities discovered drugs in his presence. Now we have a full-fledged controversy, and let's be honest, nobody anticipated that Jim's son of all people would be involved in something this significant. But here we are. People have been scrambling to explain what happened, but it's really difficult to understand. Jim Jones is meant to be the success icon and legend for his child to look up to. But the truth is that Jim has always walked the fine line between being a straight-up troublemaker and a bad boy. So what does that mean for his son? Even worse, the internet is awash with shocked fans. But let's face it, they're. Additionally, we seem to be enjoying the drama because that's what we live for these days: scandal, controversy, and confusion. People love the mess, but they detest the fact that it's coming from someone they thought could have changed things. It's almost as if we can't help but want to watch these celebrities drop out of favor right now, like Jim Jones' son jumping in front of millions of people. And let's not even talk about the family dynamic. This is the same Jim Jones who has been a mainstay on television, has made millions of dollars, and is constantly in the news. And now his son is actually freaking out because his father didn't show up to help him. This adds another layer to this tragedy and begs the question, is this a result of Jim's arrest in the first place? The only thing that is currently growing is the list of controversies surrounding the name Jones. And to make matters worse, we have received sources indicating that Jim himself has been actively involved in covering up some of his son's acts. As a result, we need to honestly consider what kind of legacy Jim is leaving for his child, one of self-destruction or redemption. It may seem like this family is in disarray and that no one is helping them, but don't panic. There is much more to the story than what we just learned. In a moment, we'll delve deeper into the repercussions of this arrest, the reactions of the public, and the possible legal repercussions that are directly affecting Jim and his son. Stay tuned as the Jim Jones news comes in. As word of his son's arrest spread like wildfire, it became clear that this was not just another tabloid headline. Rather, it was the beginning of something much more serious, dangerous, and dare we say it, flammable. This is what happens when you're dealing with a child of one of the most infamous figures in hip-hop, Jim Jones, who, despite his success, isn't exactly known for being the most law-abiding man. Instead, you're dealing with a legacy, a brand, and a name that are very important in the industry. We are all aware of his colorful past, his history of notoriety, and his public conflicts with law enforcement. It seems like there is a story about him or his interaction with diplomats causing chaos in one area or another every time you turn around. But what happens when the same behavior carries over into another? Jim Jones, a little-known person up until now, has been connected to a variety of rumors and street whispers for years. But this arrest was the catalyst that turned those rumors into something much more deadly, according to those close to the situation. Jim's son was emotionally involved in the street. That's exactly what happened here, and trust me, it's going to get much worse. Rumor has it that he has been mixing business and pleasure, hanging around with the wrong crowd, and engaging in gang-related activities that would make even the most ferocious rapper second-guess himself. The arrest itself wasn't just a simple misunderstanding, though, according to leaked police records, Jim Jones' son was caught red-handed in the middle of a. The facts are alarming, as eyewitnesses describe him as the ringleader of a group that was allegedly distributing drugs and firearms using the chaos of hip-hop culture as a cover for their activities. This was a highly criminal enterprise that was passed off as a casual family reunion. But the real story is that Jim Jones, the so-called hip-hop legend, wasn't far from. According to our sources, Jim was at the scene of the arrest and watched in disbelief as his child was shackled and taken away. The man who had always positioned himself as his family's strongest advocate was suddenly helpless to watch his own flesh being dragged through the mud. And let's not even get started on the rumors circulating about Jine's reaction to the arrest. It was reported that Jim was furious, not at his son for being caught, but at the media for having the audacity to portray his family in a negative light. This was all part of a larger conspiracy that was quickly gaining momentum. And some people speculate that Jim Jones may be more involved than he admits. After all, when you have a family that has a history of scandal and street credibility, what's the difference between maintaining authenticity? And people in the know say that Jim has always had a dark side that has been hidden behind layers of success and celebrity. This kind of evil may have affected his child. Now let's talk about the arrest itself. Eyewitnesses who were there at the scene have painted a picture of chaos, but it wasn't just the police who created media workers and onlookers. According to an unnamed source, Jim's son tried to use his father's fame as a negotiating chip, claiming that he could avoid jail because of who his father was. You could almost feel the contempt in his voice when he allegedly added, "Do you?" Additionally, other members of the hip-hop community gathered to witness this high-stakes drama, and social media quickly exploded with first-hand accounts. "I can't go down like this. You know who my dad is." Talk about arrogance. Or perhaps it was just the naive confidence that comes from growing up in a place where rules don't apply to you. But what does all of this mean for Jim Jones? What do the rumors, whispers, and street talk mean for his public image and career legacy? Let's just say that things aren't looking good for the most devoted James. Jim Jones fans are starting to wonder if it's possible that Jim's son is just carrying on his father's legacy, or if this is a case of generational failure where the son inherits the father's flaws. In any case, the fallout is inevitable and will only get worse given that this arrest occurred during a romantic relationship. Hip-hop season only made things more intense. The show's producers quickly considered the situation and released a statement expressing their regret for the incident, but they declined to discuss whether this would have an impact on the show's next season. Hop lives on drama, but this was a level of drama that even they weren't ready for. One thing is for sure, though, the program's ratings will probably rise, but at what cost? There's little doubt that this tragedy will be heavily featured in future episodes, but the question on everyone's mind is how this affects the dynamics between the other cast members. Will Jim's son become the next villain on the show, or is this his redemption arc? According to show insiders, the producers are currently scrambling to figure out how to incorporate this unexpected revelation into their script. The producers are aware of the delicate situation and are waiting for answers. But what does this mean for Jim Jones personally? It's clear that his reputation is at risk, even if the allegations against his son prove to be unfounded or exaggerated. The damage to the family's public image has already been done. Jim has built his entire career on being the bad boy of hip-hop, but it now looks like he might be going through a difficult time. The public's reaction is growing louder as the days go by, demanding answers and the truth. They want to know how far the controversy will go, whether Jim Jones will stick by his son or cut ties to protect his career, and whether his devoted fans will stick by him or abandon him when the going gets tough. No amount of fame or money can fix family problems that are spilling out into the public light, and there's no way to hide them. Time will tell if things get tough, but one thing is for sure. The fire that Jim Jones' son's arrest started is far from over, and things will only get more flammable with each passing day. By now, the story has taken a crazy turn, and the public's response has reached a fever pitch as more details about Jim Jones' son's arrest begin to come to light. This isn't just. Now, it's not just about a simple arrest. It's about a whole business collapsing, and the effects are being felt by more than just the Jim Jones family or the music industry. Could this issue have legal repercussions that we haven't fully comprehended? Let's examine the response in more detail first. There are rumors going around about possible legal penalties, according to unidentified sources. Some believe that this could be the start of the end for Jim Jones' empire, and he could lose all of his music brand and power, reports from reliable, unnamed sources. Close Jim Sutton may be facing serious accusations, not just a simple arrest, but claims that could bring down an entire network of people. Is this all a setup, or is there a larger conspiracy at work that the public cannot determine? According to sources, Jim Jones has been the subject of an investigation for months for a number of other questionable activities, many of which may be connected to his son's actions. Insiders also claim that Jim Jones may be at the center of illegal activities that go far beyond simple street connections. The entertainment industry and music industry are no strangers to controversy, but what's next is the real shocker. Could Jim Jones himself be the subject of investigations? Could federal investigators threaten his corporate empire, which is built on a tough man persona and street credibility based on his heritage? There have been rumors of everything from drug trafficking to money laundering connected to his background. And now that his son's detention has brought attention to everything, you can be sure that this isn't just going to be thrown under the rug. But let's be honest for a moment. This is about the core principles of the hip-hop industry. And if Jim is caught in any illegal activity, it will rock the entertainment industry as a whole. Rumors of collusions with dubious individuals, underground transactions, and dirty money have long been circulating in the hip-hop community. Will this really be the case when the truth is finally exposed? Disintegrate like so many other well-known families before them? If this is the case, there could be serious legal ramifications, and the matter could become a full-fledged scandal with government investigators investigating everything from tax fraud to foreign connections. The public may also demand answers from Jim and his son, demanding that they clarify the extent of this rabbit's involvement. While this is going on, Jim's son has been strangely quiet despite the criminal charges. What is his side of the story? Is he being silenced by someone more powerful? Or is there a part of the story that we don't know yet that he knows something? Could this entire situation be part of a larger plot orchestrated by someone with far more power? All of these questions remain unanswered, and the tension increases. In the meantime, the internet is rife with theories, guesses, and accusations regarding what's truly happening on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Both supporters and critics are scrutinizing every detail of the story. Some think Jim has already started to distance himself from the issue, while others think he's preparing for a public conflict that will be as ugly as it is humorous. The real question is whether Jim Jones is prepared to turn on his own son and be betrayed in public, or if he will fight back and expose everyone who has been operating behind the scenes. This is special in the age of instant access to information, as people are unearthing old interviews, deleted social media posts, and enigmatic connections that could connect Jim Jones and his son to some of the most sinister aspects of the entertainment sector. And with the help of mainstream media, we can only imagine how far this story will go. However, the worst part is that we're only just getting started. Could there be even more revelations coming as more reports come in from those enigmatic anonymous sources? It's becoming clear that there's much more going on behind the controversy than anyone initially thought. We're talking about where does this leave Jim Jones, his son, and the millions of supporters who have supported them for years when everything they've built comes crashing down in an instant? How far will the damage spread? Will someone be forced to come clean about his role in this mess, or will someone else be held accountable? It's all connected to the Jones family. Time will tell if Jim loses his family, his career, and everything he has worked for. But for now, you can be sure that the hip-hop industry and the entertainment industry as a whole will never be the same after the controversy. And just when you thought things couldn't get any more bizarre, the real truth might be around the corner. So pay close attention, because there are shocking revelations, incredible turns, and the collapse of the Jim Jones universe happening right in front of us. However, the question still stands. Is this the beginning of even bigger scandals? Or is there more to this story than anyone realizes? You won't want to miss what comes next, because the truth is out there, and we're